Welcome back to another episode of Tech DLDR. In today's space update, we have a lot going on. We have new information regarding the SN9 static flight test and possible launch. We have Starlink program delays and what's going on with that. We're also going to be talking about NASA's failed rocket attempt as well as Virgin Orbit's successful attempt in going into space. So if you want to know all about that, be sure to stick to the whole episode. But let's get into the reason why you clicked on this video, which is SpaceX's SN9. So on Twitter from Boca Chica gal, a local to the area, Starship SN9 may be doing a static fire today. That's right. So locals in the area, they get these notices whenever any sort of testing or event's going to happen because it's going to be loud, it can be disruptive, it could be dangerous. She got one regarding today, January 18th, anywhere from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. There could be activity going on. And by activity, we do mean a possible static fire because there's nothing else really going on in that area. So, as we know, over the weekend, SpaceX hurried. They were super quick in replacing the two Raptor engines in the SN9 that had failed previously. And now, apparently, they're installed. They're ready to go for a static fire. And if we see a static fire, we could see the SN9 launch this week. I know a lot of people were worried we weren't going to see it until February because whenever something like this happens, the delays can take weeks, if not months. But apparently, according to what SpaceX is giving to the locals, things are going really smooth. If we go on the FAA's website, we can see here, Brownsville, Texas, 2 space operations for January 18th to the 21st, and again, January 21st. So we have already up until Thursday that there is clearance for a possible launch. Exciting? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments what you think. If you know any more information regarding this, if you have any ideas or insights as to what's going on. I personally think at the rate at which they repaired these rockets, the engines, and replaced them, I think that we could possibly see a launch this week, as hopefully a static fire. We're definitely going to see a static fire before anything. Once we see that, we should be clear for the SN9 to launch. And as you know, if the launch is well, it goes up. It could be the first successful time the Starship launches and lands back upright. Now, I also heard speculation that this whole thing isn't going to be for the SN9, but could possibly be that they're going to do a SN10 launch and conduct the same test they're going to do the SN9 with the SN10. I don't know. I wouldn't rule that out. I don't see why they couldn't. I don't see any sort of rules in place that say they're not allowed to do that. I've heard a lot of speculation about it. But let's just hope for now that the SN9 repairs are going well and that SpaceX has things under control. They figured out what's going wrong, and we can see hopefully a successful static fire test this week. Give us a little more insight and ideas as to what's going on down there. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. And if that's all you want to know, by all means, leave the video. I understand. Make sure to smash the like button on your way out and consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this. But if you want to know more about SpaceX and other space-related news, let's get into that. So the next thing I have for you guys is SpaceX's Starlink program. Now, today, Monday, they were actually supposed to launch their Falcon 9 with 60 of their Starlink satellites on it. That's no longer the case. They had bad weather, and so they're going to postpone it until tomorrow, Tuesday. And this is happening off of the Cape Canaveral area in Florida, not the Texas area. So with this flight, it's going to be the first time of 2021 they're putting their Starlink satellites back into orbit. As I've talked in previous videos, their Starlink program is what's essentially, hopefully, going to cash flow their business to continue to fund more endeavors in getting to the moon, getting to Mars, so not having to rely strictly on just putting satellites for other companies or NASA in orbit. They have their own program now with their internet provider. So now, by them doing this, the more they get out, the better speeds we're going to have. I don't think the price of it will go down necessarily. I think it's going to stay at the same price, but it's still really reasonable for the speeds you get. I think they average minimum, it's 50 megabits per second or something like that, all the way up to 150. Super fast speeds for this so far. And this year alone, they're planning to do 40 launches between the California and Florida sites, not including their Texas site of the SN Starship launches. So they have a big year ahead. So if you want more updates on all these launches, because I'm going to be doing updates on all of them, be sure to subscribe to the channel. But I wanted to give you guys some info on that. I know a lot of people were expecting this morning the launch to happen, but it's not gonna. So be ready for tomorrow morning. I think they said again at around 8 a.m. is when they are going to get ready to do the launch. So that's Eastern Standard Time, not California time. The next story I want to talk about was Virgin Orbit. They have successfully, for the first time, put something into orbit. Now, Virgin Orbit is kind of like the Virgin Galactic. They're getting into the space game, but they have a different approach to doing this. Now, if you just saw that little clip from their Twitter feed, they actually launched using essentially a plane, like an aircraft carrier, that goes, and then the rocket deploys off of that. Now, that put satellites, cube-link satellites for NASA into orbit. So it's pretty cool to see they actually not only went into orbit, but put a payload into orbit. They had a vendor, NASA, they had a customer. So it's really cool to see that Virgin Orbit, now we don't just have SpaceX and Blue Origin from the US, we have another competitor, a serious competitor. Really cool to see another big company getting into the space game. I don't think they're going to be doing the same as going to the moon or trying to go to Mars. I think they're going to be more or less like a Rocket Lab type company, which, if you don't know, specializes in small rockets. I think that's what Virgin Orbit's probably going to stick with, probably going to continue doing. But either way, really cool to see another company break into this space and continue the development of space and more space tourism. Hopefully, I think they're going to be the next player to be into that as well. I know Richard Branson, the owner of this, has said he wants to get into space tourism, so I wouldn't be surprised if within the next few years, maybe even this year, we can see some space tourism happening from the Virgin Group. And the last thing I want to talk about is NASA's failed attempt. Now, if you don't remember, in one of my previous episodes, I kind of went on a rant about NASA. This is kind of going to be that again. So, if you don't know, NASA, on Saturday, they were doing a test for their SLS, the Space Launch System, which is going to be part of their Artemis program to get humans back on the moon. And I believe their target date was 2024. This weekend, it called for 4 of the engines to fire for 8 minutes, because that's how long it would take, and that's how much thrust it would need to generate in order to send the rocket to space. Now, it lasted 67 seconds. The engines shut down just after 67 seconds. And engine number 4 suffered a major component failure, and NASA's still looking into what that is exactly. In my last episode, I talked about this, and I'm going to talk about this again. NASA should not be the company putting people in space. Let SpaceX, Blue Origin, and now Virgin Orbit, let them do that. NASA's working with Boeing. They're paying way more than they should be because they have to follow a whole different set of guidelines for this. It's all government red tape regulated, which, don't get me wrong, I understand safety protocols. I understand that stuff. But when you have a government contractor like this, they know they can charge whatever they want because it's all just tax government money. They don't have the same business model that a company that doesn't have these guaranteed type of contracts has. So they just pay whatever they want. They just pay whatever they're asked to pay. I don't even want to know how much money has just been wasted on this project. They're saying 2024 they want to get humans back on the moon. I mean, yeah, maybe. I wouldn't put my money on NASA or Boeing. Over the past year and a half, 2 years, they've had a lot of failures. And this is another one. Like I said, Boeing's a vendor for this. Again, NASA, in my opinion, let me know in the comments what you guys think if you're still watching this. NASA should not be in the game of getting people into space. They should be in the game of doing the research and development in terms of the telescope technology, in terms of the samples being brought back from SpaceX, from Blue Origin, from these companies. Let them do the heavy lifting because they have actual business models, manufacturing settings in place to get affordable spacecrafts, to get affordable space missions. Let them do it. NASA's focusing their budget on the wrong area, in my opinion. Again, this is just my opinion. I've never ran a multi-billion-dollar entity, but it just seems like common sense. NASA, NASA's biggest success was in the 60s and 70s getting to the moon. After that, they've had so many flops, so many bad things going on with them, just so much money wasted, and that's why so many people were so skeptical to get into space, because it looked like this endeavor that was going to cost so much money that was just such a failed endeavor. But no, companies are now proving it's not. It's just NASA's business model, which doesn't exist, is the failure for it. Paying Boeing and other government contractors that will just take however much money that they want, and NASA will just continue to pay it. That is the fundamental problem with this. That's my rant for that. That's all I have for you guys for this episode. If I get more updates regarding the SN9's launch, I'm going to keep you guys posted. Also, I'm planning on doing more, or I should say getting back into EV, electric vehicle episodes. Let me guys know in the comments what you think, if you'd want to see some EV episodes, because it's something I've kind of been wanting to do again. I want to get more into that in this channel and kind of brand it around that, not just space. But let me guys know. You guys are my followers. You guys are my subscribers. If you're watching this long in the video, you guys are probably interested in what I have to put out. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. And be sure to smash the like button on the way out. Have a good one.